We got a special guest on the Musicians Mobile Show. Bennett Roth-Newell is here with us, and we're lucky to have him. He's one of the best jazz R&B piano players on the scene in the Bay Area. On top of that, he's an MC who can rap and freestyle while playing the piano at the same time. You may have seen him electrifying stages at the San Jose Jazz Fest, Yoshi's, Shoreline Amphitheater, or possibly performing with Grace Smith, the Illiance, or Amy Dabalos. He's also a multifaceted artist, arranger, composer, and the creative arts director and a teacher at the Riekes Center for Human Enhancement in Menlo Park, California. Andrew Gilbert of the San Jose Mercury News has this to say about Bennett. With his love of jazz and deep engagement with contemporary R&B, one of the South Bay's most exciting young players. Welcome to the Musicians Mobile Show, Bennett. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm feeling great. Thank you for having me on it, Nate.
How did you get started playing, man?
Just really early on as a kid, I was at a after-school program when I was like 5 years old, from like 5 years old to 7 years old. My parents enrolled me in something that kind of just musically explorational for the youth to do. So like in those 2-3 years that I was part of this program, I got to learn about playing piano as well as learning how to sing and play percussion instruments and play different woodwinds instruments and make music collaboratively, individual instruction. So a lot of that ended up being sort of the initial foundation for me. And I ultimately chose to just pursue piano after I'd had that experience of getting a lot of different musical exposure. So piano was it for me when I turned 8 years old. And I started taking lessons right then and there. I had the same teacher from the point of when I started at 8 to 18 when I went off to college.
10 years, same person. Nice.
Yeah.
Who was your teacher?
My teacher was this woman named Janet Summers, and she's from like the Berkeley, Oakland area. Okay. And she was, a huge influence and, educational, mentor for me because she kind of saw, and I guess also she saw and detected really well kind of how I wanted to go about making music and how I wanted to be creative. So, we started lessons with, technique and exercises and classical pieces and etudes. And, maybe about like 1.5 to 2 years into the time of studying with her, I think she detected or could tell that I was, maybe desiring something beyond what we would already do. And so she was introducing me to different jazz pieces and encouraging me to listen to certain jazz artists and listen to other musicians of that style. I totally fell in love with it. I was just very hooked. And, by about like 10 years old and on, I was playing, kind of nonstop, everything I could get my hands on, from Thelonious Monk to Miles Davis to Dave Brubeck, Bill Evans, McCoy Tyner. And, she was really kind of feeding that desire I had to really pursue this music. And so, she kind of helped me, she helped me, I think, find my voice on the instrument when it came to, being a, jazz pianist, how to improvise and take solos and tastefully accompany other musicians in an ensemble setting, how to play solo piano, how to learn things by ear and transcribe. Which made me a better, sight reader of music. So that was all, integral to what I did early on as a youth playing.
What was it about jazz that really captured your young imagination?
I think it was the ability to then, first kind of establish something that was, written out, but then to essentially reinterpret and have an experience that was, kind of totally unique to each individual. I think it was the idea of like, improv and and finding vocabulary and how to play like solos and things like that. I think became really fascinating because there was something I think that I could totally explore of my own accord. And I didn't just have to read what was on the page. It was a balance of being able to know how to read notation and understand harmony and chords. Know scales, have good technique to play scales and play exercises. And I think the thing I liked about it mostly, especially when I got a little bit older, like getting into things as like a teenager, I'd go to music camps in the summer, like Stanford Jazz Workshop and University of Pacific Jazz Camp. And I got to do this with other people, other kids my age. I got to watch and be mentored by musicians who were already, well established in jazz and doing it, full time, and musician was their livelihood. And I think that was the other part of it for me, is that I got to see how much it was like a communal event, as much as it was something that I could just do for my own self.
Sounds like you really like to collaborate within a community.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
What was maybe one of your earliest breakthroughs in music? Something you learned, or something that's like the light bulb went off? It's like, whoa, this is cool. This is amazing.
Something really early was, I think, right around the time I was like maybe like 11, 12 years old, somewhere kind of in the like middle school years. I was at a family music camp called Cazadero Music Camp up Northern California, and I was there to, this camp was kind of designed for like the whole family, and then, kind of little things within the family. Like this would be something cool for dad and something cool for mom and something cool for the kids to do. And so, you kind of all got to pick what you wanted to do. And I wanted to pick, I wanted to pick like this jazz related sort of jazz band activity or jazz band class. And in that, I ended up meeting this man, Geechee Taylor, who's a fabulous trumpet player in the East Bay in California. But he was fresh out of the New England Conservatory of Music. He just graduated, and he was working at the camp as an educator, and he was leading some of these jazz activities. And the first experience I had of like playing with people was with him. He and I played a duet of Miles Davis's Freddie Freeloader at the camp's open mic. And it was an experience like that showed me like, and he showed me it kind of too, and just how we approached it, that you can have a blast doing this. You can have a lot of fun. You can basically, this is basically like us. This is like us hanging out. This is like us, having a conversation, but we're doing it with our instruments, and, and we're like, kind of really wrapped up in it, but at the same time, having a joy, sharing joy with each other, doing so. So I remember that moment really clearly, being the thing that like, it really, it really, just filled me up with a lot of positivity, and I got to come back to this joy. It gave me joy to do it. So that I remember early on was something that like really lit the spark for me.
How much time were you practicing a day back then?
Early on, I can remember, kind of having focus for 20, 25 minutes at a time from like age 8 to 9 or 10. Okay. But I especially remember like when I would get new pieces of music, especially new jazz songs or new material to study, like if there was something that I was encouraged to transcribe, or if there was something I was encouraged to listen to, kind of and try to emulate or apply into my practice. I recall times where, I lost track of how long I was going on the piano. And, I think my parents could probably attest that there were moments that I was, playing anywhere from 30 minutes at a time to 90 minutes at a time or something. And I think it just came with how much I was driven to improve, or just how excited I was to like get into the learning experience and, really try to go from the early moments of like trying to learn it and sight read something, or have to play something really slow, or play some with a metronome, to then being able to kind of really run with it and be free about my playing.
It sounds like you've had some very joyful moments on stage. However, there's always times when we bomb it on stage, or maybe early in the career. Like, I know comedians that they've had to bomb a few times before they became comedic geniuses. Was there ever a time when you bombed it on stage, and how did you pick yourself back up?
Well, I mean, I can look back and say, not every gig has been a smash,
Right.
I can think about times, maybe not so much as like a bomb, but I feel like I describe it as being just ill prepared, or not as prepared as I really could have made myself. There were experiences like that in like high school jazz band.
Yeah.
There were experiences like that. Here's what's more interesting, and maybe what made a bigger impact on me as I grew as a musician.
Sure.
I remember bombing more in like jazz improvisation college classes. I'm just there amongst my peers and with the professor, and it's like, no more than like maybe 15 people in a room.
Right.
And I mean, we're on the stage, we're inside, the music building stage, right? But there's no audience or whatever. But I can recall the times when just, either I didn't know the material as well as I could have, or I was playing and it just sounded like it was all just like, disjointed and and not really had a clear direction. And I remember those times, and it was more of a feeling of like, letting myself down, and maybe putting disappointment in, the professors or that led those courses.
How'd you bounce back from those times?
I used it as motivation to not allow myself to, experience that, or just do my best I could just to never get to that, level of letdown again. So, I mean, I really remember distinctly those feelings of how it felt afterwards. Like, I felt frustrated. I felt kind of angry, kind of just, heated at it. And there were even times in those classes like that where I felt like I played well, or I was fulfilling my responsibilities as a musician in that class well. And the professors still, tell me that I wasn't, cutting it essentially. And that would even start to, fuel me even more. So it was like, I didn't feel like I bombed maybe, but I was bombing to them, maybe unknowingly. So, but I wanted to take those experiences and just be certain that I wouldn't find myself in that same situation at any other point, hopefully.
Transitioning from there, take me to like peak experience you had on stage.
There's been a lot of them I could say that I feel proud of, and I credit it a lot to, I think, like the people who I was making the music with and who I was sharing those experiences with, because it was collective bursts of energy. I can definitely say, like performances I've done at San Jose Jazz Summer Festivals have been like really remarkable, I think, and just really just high energy and feeling of high accomplishment. Like I can recall performances I've done at those festivals with Mason Razavi, who's a jazz guitarist in San Jose, Amy Dabalos, jazz vocalist in San Jose, the Bad Ones. There's a group I've recorded and played with. We did a stage there, the Illiance. Just all of those different performances at the festival have felt really rewarding. Same going for playing a few different shows at Yoshi's with this R&B soul vocalist named Tracy Cruz, or a hip hop artist named Jonah Melvon. Playing those shows with those folks have been really, really awesome, especially when an intimate room like that is totally full and the people are there, strictly to be, musically entertained. And, the whole focus is there, right? There's no kind of other, the music is not an appetizer to it. It's the full course there. But yeah, I think back to times like that have just been really rewarding. And I come back to this again. It were those moments that became like truly some of the most joyful.
It might be hard for new students to imagine like what you're experiencing or going through when you're blazing this amazing solo across the piano, and you're improvising all these notes in the moment that you're just creating spontaneously. What's going on in your mind or your body there? What are you experiencing in those moments?
I think I'm experiencing a certain like zest or a certain like euphoria of freedom.
Euphoria.
Because I think euphoria might be the really most apt way to put it. I think about this and like the question also makes me think of like, I got asked in another podcast not too long ago about like stage fright or things like that, or being like nervous to perform. And I think I kind of put this like euphoria kind of both to the answer of what you're asking, Nate, and also what I was asked about stage fright. I think it's like I get this feeling of excitement and just feeling totally wound up and juiced to be doing it.
Right.
So I don't really feel like I'm nervous or anxious about the moment, or I'm like not feeling right about the moment. So I think the feeling of that euphoria and just to get to like open up and create and be expressive, I think that's what's running through my head. That's probably what's running through my head more than what am I going to hit the third on this E7 chord or right, or am I going to play the arpeggio of the F minor?
Right. So you're not thinking, you're transcended. It sounds like thinking about scales, and you've practiced them probably so much that you're now in a state of freedom. Is that?
Yeah, I'm true. Yeah, I'm trying to have dialogue. I guess I'm trying to have dialogue with the other musicians I'm on stage with. I'm trying to, hopefully connect and musically speak to an audience. I'm trying to be, inspirational. I'm trying to, I think, satisfy my creative urges at the moment. But it all feels very, at that point to me, I think it all feels like it's, going to be a kind of a greater musical purpose. It's something bigger than just inside myself. I feel like it's something that can be shared across, all people involved in that given moment.
It's incredible, man. I've seen you perform numerous shows, whether they be at Cafe Stritch, and I was blown away, man, when I saw you taking these monstrous solos, jazz solos, getting funky, doing R&B, mixing genres. And then all of a sudden you take the mic and you start freestyling. And I don't think I've ever seen someone do jazz piano, R&B piano, and then freestyle at the same time. It blew my mind. So I wanted to see, we're trying to emphasize to our music community what improv really is. And I was going to see if you'd be down to take on this little challenge right here in the moment.
Sure.
Where we have you do like original 4-chord, or I don't know, 2 to 4 measure kind of vamp. Okay. Could be jazzy or R&B-ish, your own thing. Doesn't need to be too fancy, but then we're going to have you rap over it. And just so we know that it's a freestyle, I'll start putting out some word prompts for you. And, we know you're from the Bay. We're gonna take, and I'm from the Bay. We're gonna take people on it. There you go. We're going to take them on a tour of the Silicon Valley, and
Okay.
we're gonna dive into a real Bay and tech-centric tour of the Silicon Valley, do something kind of different that maybe has never been done before.
All right.
Yeah, so let's just start with the little Vamp. We're gonna bring them through 3 different levels here of this challenge. Level 1 is gonna be 1 and 2 syllable rhymes. Level 2, we're gonna get into 3 and 4 syllable stuff. Kind of like an Eminem, you know. And then level 3 will be 5+ syllable rhymes.
Oh man.
So we're just gonna have fun with it. And so I'll give you a word prompt in just a minute. I'll let you get into the kind of groove. Here we go. Pixar.
Pixar. I try to get far with my career. Even though I am not a star, I'm in the sky and I'm shining. You might see me in the Bay Area, grinding like the Clips. But I don't go for the tip, I go for the tip top. When I flip hop, I'm kind of like Rick Rock. When I flip these things in this hip hop. What was that?
Dropbox.
When I drop box like Rachmaninoff, I can go classically inclined. Cause my career gonna be on the incline, not the decline, not the downfall. Cause I always hoop with the round ball. Hit me one more time.
Sourdough.
Sourdough, but I ain't got the sour flow. I got the sweet flow that you want to always admire. They call me sire. The last thing I'd ever consider is retire. I'm running like tires, good year. 2021, about to be a good year.
Crypto.
If you got the currency, make it crypto. But now I'm gonna get on my elliptical and try to get my fit on. Cause that's what I gotta do, I'ma sit on my throne. When I'm in my zone, I can't ever leave it alone. It's like your ringtone from an old phone. NASA, I could go Stevie on it and go Master Blaster. We getting funky, yeah, some smelling real skunky. Cause I keep it funky like some gym socks. You know I always do it for hip hop and jazz and R&B. You hear this is harmony.
LinkedIn.
Yo. Didn't need to get a job on LinkedIn. I just had good education from Aaron LinkedIn. That's the San Jose State Jazz coordinator. Cause I'm on the microphone, I'm a penetrator like Dwayne Wade or LeBron in the key. And in this key, I'm in D minor. Nothing is finer than piano and rap. And that's a fact. You know that's a fact.
All right, we're taking it to level 2. This is 3 to 4 syllable raps. Queen's Gambit.
The Queen's Gambit. I don't fear anything except reading a whole book of Hamlet if I need it for a book report. Cause right here I'm holding court like the queen or the king or the jack or the ace. I've got a trick up my sleeve, you can see it on my face. I've got that whole kind of grin. Cause I don't want to commit the sin of hitting the wrong note. But you know I got the best stroke like a jump shooter from the Bay. That's right, Curry or Clay.
Venture cap.
In the non-profit world, I'm dealt with a lot of venture cap, but you know I go on different adventures like Spain, in fact, because we used to take the Riekes, that's the Riekes Center's band, we'd take them all the way to Spain, Barcelona, Sitges to be exact. That's a little biographical, but it's very factual.
James Franco.
Word to James Franco, Palo Alto graduate. I think he's from the Bay Area. Go ahead and check your Wikipedia for something. That's it. That's what I got to tell you. James Franco. I take it to the bank like a bankroll. And I keep it real high like the payroll.
Raj Mathai.
Oh my God, Raj Mathai. Don't make me have to go out here and touch the sky. Raj Mathai out here giving you sports reports on NBC. I wish it was on MTV where they still could show some videos. Now all they do is show weird videos of people missing free throws.
Lonely Gardens.
Oh man, Filoli Gardens. I was actually just at Filoli Gardens doing a charity event at Filoli, eating rigatoni.
Gilroy garlic.
There's nothing like the garlic that you get out of Gilroy. Like I said before, it fills you with joy.
Oh.
Even if it's a little spicy, we're gonna have to do it all nicely.
All right, level 3. This is 5+ syllables.
Oh man.
99 Ranch Market.
99 Ranch Market. But for me, I probably need to shop at Target so I could afford it. Cause I just wanna be sure I'm sorting all out my change. 99 Ranch Market might feel strange, territory that I don't usually explore. I usually need to be at the 99-cent store.
Put up for Bennett, past all 3 levels. Right on, man. This has been a great interview. I know you got to get rolling. You got more podcasts, more interviews, more music to go. Thanks so much, Bennett. Where can we point people? What do you want to promote? How can the folks get to know more about you and your music?
Sure. You can go to BennettRoth-Newell.com, www.BennettRoth-Newell.com. That's BennettRothNewell.com. I know that's kind of a mouthful, but BennettRoth-Newell.com. I'm on Instagram at Bennett Jazz Keys. Music is on Spotify, Apple, all the different streaming platforms, Bennett Roth. You can find all the different, things of collaborating with people there. Yeah.
We'll throw up some links.
Yeah, no doubt.
Your Instagram, your webpage, the whole thing.
YouTube, Bennett Roth. It's all love, man.
Right on, man. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for really emphasizing the improvisation and such a talented force. Looking forward to seeing you continue to grow with music, man. And
oh, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on it, Nate. You've been a, awesome friend in this business and in this life of music. I know you done helped me along the way a bunch, man. And I've always enjoyed our collaborations. Studio.
We didn't touch on that this time, but yeah, Bennett and I, we've done some stuff in the studio, and I've watched this man grow from performing at the car dealership on Capitol Expressway with some fellow Bay Area artists.
Yeah.
To then retouching bass with them many years later and just seeing him rip the piano stage, playing jazz, R&B, hip hop. So this guy is multifaceted. You guys need to check his music out for sure. Thanks, Benny.
Thanks so much, Nate.
We'll catch up later. Talk to you later.
Yeah, we will. All right.
Yep.